driving.
So here at it's the Hell Yeah podcast, by the way.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's the Hell Yeah podcast.
Sounds good to me.
We're here to give advice. And so I've gathered some people looking for advice. We're going to read what they need advice on, and then we're going to give advice.
Great.
Go ahead. Feel free to interrupt me at any time.
Awesome. That's what makes for a good podcast. When the person who's running the podcast is interrupted by the guest like that, I tell you that it's so good for the listener when they don't know who's talking. I think a lot of podcasts focus on coherency. No, that's not what the audience wants.
Old news.
All right. So that's first piece of advice for any aspiring podcaster that's listening to this podcast is just, you know what? No one can hear you unless everyone's talking at the same time.
And Steve, if there's any way you could hijack this podcast with a 30-minute story of how a sitcom went, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that sounds great.
I want the whole storyline of It Takes Three, you know?
That's right. No, I would tell you, I mean, whether it's some of the very special episodes of Different Strokes, and there was plenty, you know, I mean, anyway, look, we'll save that for the 2 minutes from now when I take over.
Seven's Heaven is coming in a big way for everyone, for all our Heaven fans out there.
I got some Love Boat things I got to talk about.
Dear Hell Yeah podcast, my husband has a habit of getting involved in family or social events at the very last minute, making changes to the plans. Prior to the last minute, he has no involvement. What he actually does is just to mess everything up a day or two beforehand. This Father's Day was my last straw. Our grown children had planned a cookout at one of my son's house. The kids had coordinated it and assigned various dishes for each to bring. Friday evening, my husband asked what time Father's Day dinner was on Sunday. I said, I didn't know. So he started saying, I want Father's Day here. This is my holiday, my house, and I want it here. Mike, my father passed away last month. My husband said, so we're never having Father's Day for the rest of our lives because your dad died? I was shocked and angry. I replied, I'm not having it this year, and I never plan on having it, as you have 4 adult children. I do every birthday and holiday. They can do Father's Day. He then said, I'm not comfortable anywhere but my own house, which I know is untrue. What is wrong with him?
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot there.
So there's the final question was, what is wrong with him?
What is wrong with him?
And is that what we're here to do, is diagnose this this husband, or do we want to help her through? I mean, like, there's so many different, like, I can't I mean, first off, you should leave your husband. Like, I mean, I think that's a given, right? I mean, I don't think that this podcast is like breaking any new ground when we say
leave your husband, try to find a new man, preferably very rich. I hear that Kanye is on the market.
Right. I mean, there's so many options. You know what? Find yourself maybe even a woman that would be especially grateful.
Absolutely.
You know, so somebody who's maybe like down on their luck, like find a homeless person.
Somebody who knows the Dewey Decimal System. Right.
Or at least is Dewey themselves, right? Like you want somebody who's like just they have a little bit of moisture on the outside.
A little bit of stickiness.
Yeah. Oh, now we're cooking. Now, you know what? I might be the person you're looking for. So I mean, there's a lot here, right? Like, and speaking as somebody who is a father, who is married to a mother, not his own mother, I want to make this very clear. You know, the topic of like Father's Day and Mother's Day comes up a lot. And for me, look, I don't do much, like, I don't have a lot of expectations for Father's Day because as we discussed a little bit, I just don't think fathers are great. By and large, I'm glad you guys have a great relationship. So for me, the idea of being celebrated seems like maybe not right.
You could just use a trip to the wax museum and you're good.
Yeah. For me, Father's Day is a poor man's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So with Mother's Day, but like there would always be some tension in the house when my wife would be like watching me do a lot of work for Mother's Day and like trying to corral the kids. And she's like, well, I really would just, for her, she's like, I would prefer that the kids put in the effort because then that feels like they actually are honoring me on Mother's Day. If it becomes a chore or an errand, then it feels like, well, then it actually makes her feel worse, right?
It's not special.
It's not special, right? So I do kind of appreciate to some degree that he's taken back Father's Day. He's like, this is my day. It's going to be at my house. And I'm going to tell you all what I think of you. Like, part of me is like, well, you know what? Let him do it, right?
But also, I like the psychopathic dedication of having this whole plan that your kid's filled up. And he's like, no, I have my shows to watch.
I've got, here's what I want to do. I want you like that. Maybe that's his whole thing, right? He loves the idea of having agency because maybe he feels like he doesn't have agency in his regular life. So for him to upset a plan is like the greatest thing, right? Like, I'm going to come in, like, you know what you guys have done my whole life is you've interrupted my life with your nonsense. Ooh, look, I drew this for you. Hey, I have a play. Can you sign this permission slip? And I'm just trying to get drunk.
I just want to watch Young Sheldon in peace.
That's right. So now I'm sitting here. There's a Kurt Russell marathon on TV, and you guys are going to take me out to dinner. Wrong. You're going to come in here and you're going to make Dad some sliders. And by make some sliders, I mean you're going to go and buy me some sliders because I know you guys can't cook for nothing. And I'm going to be watching. Castle, we are going from Escape from New York to Escape from LA. We're going to Big Trouble in Little China. This is my day. And then she's like, my dad died. And he's like, whoa, what does that mean for me? Does that mean that my holiday is messed up because your dad had to die? Look, he chose what he wanted to do for Father's Day. I shall live.
Yeah. I do love that where he's just like, a month later, a month passes and he's like, so what? So we're never going to do this ever again?
I love that. I like to think that actually happens at the funeral. Like people are crying. They're lowering the father-in-law into the ground. He's like, well, I hope this isn't going to change my Father's Day plans. Yeah,
I hope it does. You better, that bath better be running by the time I get home.
Come June.
Yeah. Your father may be cold, but my dinner shall not.
Exactly. All this. I mean, and the thing is, he's just coming to grips with his own mortality, right? And and I understand. I mean, but I mean, I do appreciate from her perspective where it's like, look, you know what? You're not my dad. They got to do something for you. So, I mean, essentially what she's saying is, look, they're going to disappoint you and I get to watch. So it's kind of like a second Mother's Day.
For sure. Yeah, she's, it's in a sense just throwing away another macaroni frame. You know?
In her mind, she's like, I get to bury you every June. Like that's my moment.
The sadness in your eyes, when you got a hamburger with a cold center.
I look at your disappointment and it feels like Dad is back again.
What? Hell yeah. What? Hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? What? Can I get a